Sonic has fought many villains when it comes to his adventures, but there's always been one villain that has stood out above the rest in my personal opinion, and that is Mephiles the Dark. And today I wanted to talk about why I think Mephiles is easily the best villain that we've ever received in a Sonic game, period. And to start this discussion, I want to talk about who or what Mephiles the Dark is. Mephiles is one half of the sun god Solaris, with his other half being the Flames of Disaster, Iblis, that we see in Silver's story. And Mephiles' story starts with the Solaris project. And the Solaris project was created by the Duke of Soliana, Elise's father, and if he were to be successful in this project, it would have gave him control of time itself. But unfortunately for the Duke, this event ended up in a disaster 10 years prior to the main events of Sonic 06. But after a huge explosion went off, Mephiles and Iblis try to escape, but our two heroes are here to save the day with Shadow and Silver, with Shadow chasing after Mephiles and Silver going after Iblis. But after Shadow catches up to Mephiles finally, we see him appear as like a black sludge creature. And thankfully for Shadow, he has the Scepter to Darkness to be able to seal Mephiles away. Well, that is until you fast forward 10 years later where Shadow and Rouge invade White Acropolis to take the Scepter of Darkness back. But after being ambushed by Dr. Eggman in Kingdom Valley, we see the Scepter of Darkness being launched into the air and come crashing down, which frees Mephiles. But after Mephiles is set free, we see him take the form of Shadow's Shadow. Yeah, I'm not kidding. And from there we see him rise from the shadow to look identical to Shadow, where he's more of a black and white figure to him, and he also has bright green eyes. But after taking Shadow's form, Mephiles goes ahead and sends Shadow and Rouge to the future. But Mephiles also goes to the future on different business, where he goes ahead and meets up with the new character of Sonic 06, Silver. And what he goes ahead and does is he tricks Silver into thinking Sonic is the reason that his future is destroyed, stating that the true Iblis trigger is Sonic the Hedgehog himself, which is wrong, it is actually Princess Elise. But of course Silver believes this, going to the past to try to kill Sonic to save his future. But with Mephiles staying in the future, he goes ahead and goes to Flame Core to meet up with Shadow to show him his future. And what he shows Shadow is he shows that after the Flames of Disaster broke out in the future, humanity feared Shadow and his power, sealing him away to make sure that he didn't get out of hand. And with him saying that, hoping that Shadow will join him to rule the world with him. But before they duel it out, Mephiles goes ahead and changes form, turning into his crystallized form, which in my personal opinion looks pretty damn cool. It looks like he has a lot more sharp edges with his crystals, has bright pink eyes, and is also floating with now that he doesn't have any legs. And I'd imagine this gives Mephiles a pretty big power up, but it's hard to say as they never really truly explain in the game. But after this, all he really does is goes ahead and messes with Shadow once again in Wave Ocean, trying to break his morale. And after leaving that, he finally goes to Dusty Desert where he finds 2 Chaos Emeralds, and he goes ahead and does the final battle with Shadow himself. But after Shadow tries to seal Mephiles away once again with the Scepter of Darkness, Mephiles breaks free, saying that won't work on me anymore. But after all this happens, Mephiles goes ahead and escapes and finds Sonic. Now if you remember a little bit earlier on in the video, I said that Princess Elise is the Iblis trigger and not Sonic, which he told Silver the opposite. And with Mephiles clearly messing with Silver by telling him the opposite, he goes ahead and kills Sonic, and this is the first villain to actually ever kill Sonic, and the only. And the reason he does this is not that he necessarily has a problem with Sonic at the moment, it's for the simple fact that the Flames of Disaster are actually released by Elise crying. Though admittedly, I do think it's a little bit weird that the reason that the Flames of Disaster happened is because Elise cried. Mephiles was still able to make this happen just because of how much the princess cared for Sonic. And with the Flames of Disaster finally released, Mephiles is able to rejoin Iblis and create the sun god Solaris. And of course our 3 heroes save the day, defeating Solaris and erasing the events of Sonic 06. And with all that being said, I hope you have a better understanding of who or what Mephiles actually is. But the main thing that I want to talk about, and the reason why I think he's the best Sonic villain we've ever received, is because of his dark personality, presence, and design. And to start off, just to show how dark his personality actually is, you may be wondering why Mephiles didn't just start out by killing Sonic to make Elise cry right away. Well, that's just how dark and twisted he is. He wants to make the world actually suffer. And he starts off with getting revenge on the person that sealed him away, which is Shadow. He starts off by sending Shadow to the future by showing him what awaits him in the near future. But he also shows him his future, showing how humanity completely changes on him by sealing him away. And with doing this, he hopes to break Shadow's mental and make him just straight up suffer. But not only that, he continues to break Shadow's mental by showing Omega that he's actually the one that truly seals Shadow away in the future. But with Omega telling him this, you can actually see Shadow is quite bothered by this. And by seeing this, you can see that he succeeded, that he won. He's breaking Shadow. But even after he's done tormenting with Silver and Shadow, he goes ahead and just straight up kills Sonic. What other villain has actually killed him? I'll tell you, none. He's actually the only villain that has actually truly killed him. Not Metal Sonic, not Eggman, not anybody. And even though it was kind of a sneak attack from the back, he actually had the balls to kill him. And even with all Eggman's done with blowing up the moon and everything like that, he still has never even come close to killing Sonic. The other thing I want to talk about is his presence and just the way that he carries himself. I mean, we even see early on when he becomes Shadow's shadow just how the way he walks and just how evil he actually looks, and even just listen to his laugh. And now, I was pretty young when I first played Sonic 06 myself, and Mephiles genuinely scared me. I think a big reason on why it scared me as a kid is just because of how well his voice actor actually did with voicing him. And that voice actor is Dan Green, and you may know him for his work as Knuckles the Echidna throughout the other Sonic games. But whoever made the decision to actually make him voice Mephiles deserves a goddamn raise. Because I think personally that this is some of the best voice acting work that we've ever seen in a Sonic game.
What you gave to me, I now return to you. A one-way ticket to oblivion.
When it comes to his design and the way that he looks, I know many people don't like it just because he is a carbon copy of Shadow. But with also becoming Shadow's shadow, he also takes all of his powers as well, being able to use any of them that Shadow has. But it also just kind of makes you think this is just one big mind game by Mephiles himself. Though he does seem kind of surprised that he takes the form of Shadow, I still think this was kind of planned by Mephiles just to mess with him. But like I said, when he absorbs Shadow's shadow, he also gains his ability as well, making Mephiles already just busted as it is. But some of the different power and abilities that he actually has is going to be shape-shifting, which we can see as he changes into Shadow. He's able to freely go or move people through time similar to Chaos Control without a Chaos Emerald. It seems he's able to blast different opponents away by firing different shockwaves. And if that isn't enough for you, Mephiles is just straight up immortal. You can't kill him. I mean, throughout the story we see him get beat up, shot, and overall just trying to be sealed away multiple times, and even that stuff doesn't work on Mephiles. And the only way that they were ever able to get rid of Mephiles is by erasing the events of Project Solaris. And that isn't even the only thing. Mephiles is extremely smart. He is quite literally the mind and the will of Solaris. And throughout the story we can just see how dark and twisted that mind truly is. And then the power he's able to get when he actually becomes Solaris is absolutely insane. He goes ahead and takes all of the characters of Sonic 06 and just puts them in an endless void that has no time at all. And let's not forget just how far he pushes the ultimate life form to his limits. In their battle, he makes Shadow take off his inhibitor rings, while Mephiles being the only villain to ever make him do so. And if that doesn't show just how strong Mephiles was, I don't know what will. But with all that being said, that's why I think Mephiles is the best villain that we've ever received in a Sonic game. Now keep in mind, this is just my personal opinion. I know that some other people might have different opinions on how they view villains, and that's totally fine. Let me know who you think is the best villain in Sonic history. And even though I think Mephiles is the best Sonic villain that we have ever received, we've never seen him return in a mainline Sonic game. It seems like Sega is finally starting to put him in certain things with different merchandise, and also Sonic Force's Speed Battle being a playable character within that. But it is hard to say if Mephiles will ever return. I mean, isn't he technically erased from history? Though it's never truly been confirmed by Sega or anyone with Sonic Team, many people believe the Time Eater in Sonic Generations might have been leftover matter of Mephiles himself. But this is just speculation, and it's hard to ever really say if this is truly Mephiles or not. But I would still love to see Mephiles the Dark return in a future mainline Sonic game. But thank you so much for watching this discussion video on Mephiles the Dark. Let me know what you guys think of Mephiles in the comments below. But be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of when I do upload more, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace!